What if the stars had aligned differently, and Russia had won the space race? Imagine a world where the first human to step foot on the moon was not Neil Armstrong, but a cosmonaut from the Soviet Union. To understand the gravity of this alternate reality, we must first take a brief detour through history. The space race, a fierce competition between the United States and the Soviet Union, was a key battleground of the Cold War. It wasn't just about technological prowess or the exploration of the unknown. It was about demonstrating superiority, about national pride, and about the global balance of power. When the Soviet Union launched Sputnik, the first artificial satellite, into space in 1957, it marked the beginning of this intense rivalry. But the United States eventually claimed the ultimate prize. In 1969, the world watched in awe as the Apollo 11 mission landed the first humans on the moon. The space race, for all intents and purposes, was won by the United States. But what if the script had been flipped? What if it was the Soviet Union that had taken that giant leap for mankind? How would that have changed the course of history, the dynamics of the Cold War, and the world as we know it today? Would the United States have pushed even harder in other areas to compensate for this loss? Could the Soviet Union have capitalized on this victory to strengthen its global position? Would this have changed the course of the arms race or the balance of power between the two superpowers? And what about the cultural, religious, and socio-economic implications? These are not just idle questions, they are a gateway into a fascinating exploration of alternate history, a journey into a world that could have been. As we delve into this realm of what-ifs, we'll examine these questions and more, piecing together a picture of a world reshaped by a Soviet victory in the space race. As we journey through the corridors of an alternate history, let's ponder on how different the world might be. Imagine a world where the first human footprint on the moon bore the hammer and sickle. In such a world, the social and cultural impacts of a Russian victory in the space race would have been profound, to say the least. The global perception of the two superpowers would have shifted dramatically. The United States, the self-proclaimed leader of the free world, may have found itself in a position of perceived weakness, while Russia, the victor in this grandest of competitions, could have enjoyed a significant boost to its international standing and prestige. National pride and identity, so deeply intertwined with the space race, would also have been drastically affected. In the United States, a nation that prides itself on innovation and progress, the loss may have been a blow to the collective self-confidence. Would Americans have seen themselves as second best, or would the defeat have spurred them on to greater heights in other fields? On the other hand, a Russian victory may have bolstered national pride to an unprecedented level. The achievement could have been seen as a validation of Soviet ideology and a symbol of the nation's technological prowess and potential. Would the average Russian citizen have walked a little taller, their chest puffed out with pride? Pop culture, too, would likely have been influenced by this alternate outcome. Would we have seen a surge in Russian science fiction, with brave cosmonauts exploring the stars and battling alien foes? Perhaps American pop culture, so often focused on triumph and victory, would have taken a more introspective turn, exploring themes of loss, resilience, and the pursuit of redemption. And what about the moon landing itself? Would the iconic image of the American flag planted on the lunar surface be replaced by the Soviet red flag fluttering in the vacuum of space? Would the words, "That's one small step for man, one giant leap for mankind," be replaced by a Russian equivalent, forever etched in our collective memory? In this alternate world, the space race's outcome would have left a lasting mark on society. A Russian victory in the space race would have had profound economic implications. It's a tantalizing thought, one that leads us down a rabbit hole of what-ifs and might-have-beens. Imagine for a moment, a world where the first human to leave the Earth's atmosphere was not Neil Armstrong but a cosmonaut from the Soviet Union. The impact of such an event would reverberate far beyond the realms of space exploration, deeply influencing the global economic landscape. The space race was not merely a battle for celestial dominance, it was a fierce competition for technological supremacy. A Russian victory would have signified their technological prowess, potentially prompting a surge in investment in Russian technology. This could have led to a dramatic increase in the Russian national budget, bolstering their economy significantly. In this alternative universe, the United States, eager to regain its standing, might have poured even more funding into research and development. The race for technological innovation would have become even more intense, leading to rapid advancements in fields like robotics, computing, and engineering. This could have created a boom in the tech industry, leading to unprecedented economic growth. But what about the global economy? If Russia had secured the first manned lunar landing, it would have solidified its position as a global superpower. This could have led to a shift in economic power, with more countries looking to Russia for trade and investment. The ruble might have become a dominant global currency, challenging the supremacy of the dollar. Furthermore, the Soviet Union's victory could have sparked a new race, a race for resources. The Moon, Mars, and beyond could have become the new frontiers for resource extraction, leading to a whole new era of economic competition. Yet it's important to remember that this is all speculation. History has shown us time and again that the course of events is often shaped by unexpected factors. Nonetheless, it's fascinating to ponder the what-ifs, to explore the roads not taken. In the economic chessboard, the space race's outcome could have tipped the scales dramatically. But alas, we are left with reality. A world where the stars and stripes were the first to be planted on the moon, leaving us to wonder about the world that might have been. Could a Russian triumph in the stars have thawed the icy tensions of the Cold War? That's the question we're delving into. In the grand chessboard of Cold War politics, space was the ultimate high ground. A Russian victory in the space race could have significantly shifted the balance of power. Let's imagine for a moment that Sputnik wasn't just the first satellite, but the harbinger of a string of Russian victories. A Russian moon landing, Russian space stations, Russian Mars rovers. The space race was never just about exploration, it was a proxy for technological and military prowess. The implications for military strategy would have been immense. A Russia dominant in space could have had the potential to control communication satellites, surveillance systems, and even, in the most extreme scenarios, weapons platforms. The balance of terror that kept the Cold War cold could have tilted sharply towards the east. But would this have increased tensions, or could it have led to a détente? On one hand, the fear of a Russian space empire might have led to heightened paranoia and an escalating arms race. The Cold War could have turned hot very quickly. On the other hand, a Russian victory might have spurred a realization of mutual vulnerability. If both superpowers were dwarfed by the vastness of space, might they have found common ground in their shared insignificance? Could the space race have transformed from a competition to a collaboration, as both nations realized that the real challenge wasn't each other, but the harsh, unforgiving void of the cosmos? Would the sight of a Russian astronaut planting a flag on the moon have led to a surge of nationalism or a wave of global unity? The answer, like space itself, is vast and unknowable. In this alternative universe where the stars bear the hammer and sickle, the Cold War might have been a very different game. But one thing is certain. In the shadowy game of the Cold War, the stakes were as high as the stars themselves. How might a Russian victory have influenced the religious landscape? Let's ponder for a moment. In a world where the Soviet Union reached the moon first, the impact on religion could have been profound. The United States, often seen as a nation under God's wing, might have questioned this divine mandate. Was God's favor not with them after all? This could have triggered a profound spiritual introspection, potentially reshaping religious institutions and beliefs. Conversely, the largely atheistic Soviet Union might have seen this victory as proof of their ideology's supremacy. But could the monumental achievement of landing a man on the moon have stirred within them a sense of wonder, a questioning of the cosmos, and potentially a softening of their atheistic stance? The space race wasn't just about technology or military prowess, it was a contest of ideologies, of worldviews. In the heavens as on Earth, the space race's outcome may have reshaped the spiritual map. As we return to reality, let's take a moment to reflect on the world that could have been. Picture a world where the red flag of Russia flutters on the moon, a symbol of their triumph in the space race. Such a victory would have been more than just a scientific achievement. It would have been a game changer. The social landscape could have been reshaped, with Russia standing tall as a beacon of innovation and progress. Economically, a Russian victory could have fueled a stronger Soviet economy, perhaps even averting its eventual collapse. In military terms, the balance of power could have shifted dramatically, with Russia holding the high ground, literally. Religiously, the implications are profound. A Russian victory might have challenged the faith of many, compelling them to reconcile their beliefs with this new reality. And, as for the Cold War, a Russian triumph might have escalated tensions, pushing the world closer to the brink. In the grand tapestry of history, even the smallest threads can alter the entire picture.